Coming in at number 32, making his debut on this list, it's right shot defenseman Nikolas Matinpalo.
This is the other European import we've been talking about, and I think he's very intriguing. Ross says he's a couple of years younger than Schmeichel. He'll be turning 25 in October, but for a 24-year-old Ross to have 205 games of experience in Liga, there's a lot of value there. And you can't really look at him as a prospect in my mind, because that is a great sample size of pro experience, and Liga arguably in that kind of top echelon of European leagues.
Nikolas Matinpalo, 6'3", 207 pounds. He, like you said, has
right shot defenseman too.
Very valuable. There's no doubt about that. A very low risk signing for the Senators as well. Nothing sexy about the way he plays. He's not going to put up a ton of points. Last year in 51 games, had 16 points, 7 goals, 9 assists, 20 penalty minutes, was +2. Had 3 points, goal and 2 assists in 7 games to World Championships. 16 points, way above what I expect from him next year, even if he plays all 82 in Ottawa. He would be a complimentary right shot defenseman, almost in the mold of a JBD. Great skating defenseman, good gap control, doesn't look out of place, or didn't at the World Championships, and just, steady Eddie, which Ottawa could have used 2-3 years ago more than ever. Now I think you're going to be in a battle to make the final push on a roster spot for this upcoming team. With that said, looking at elite prospects, and they did their countdown of Senators prospects, they still have him in the mix there. And they said after watching some tape, they see why Ottawa's taking a chance on him. Looks like an NHL caliber player in a lot of his shifts last year. Played power play, penalty kill, and the pace is the only thing they're worried about. Can he keep up with NHL pace? Good thing they got preseason to figure that out, because, he's going to be a guy who I think would be more so in line for the first call-up. I think for him, just because we're for Schmeichel, it's him or Parker Kelly. We're more so basing that race on for fourth line left wing. Whereas for Matinpalo, because of the re-signing of Travis Hamonic, now it's him, JBD, and Matinpalo. It's just a little bit longer of a shot, I think, for him to start in Ottawa. But then again, there's only 6 defensemen versus 12 forwards. It's more likely that they're going to need to call up a defenseman sooner, whereas he could be that guy early. And then if he sticks, maybe he doesn't go back down.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think as far as the start of the season goes, Matinpalo will likely end up in Belleville, just because they're really going to want to see that battle between Hamonic and JBD, especially with waiver implications there. But look, if there's an injury in Ottawa and there's a spot open, I think Matinpalo is going to be the first guy up, because the Sens have given the taste, or they've given a chance to the other vet guys in Belleville, right? Like Larson's seen his chance, Hetherington's seen his chance, and they didn't Lassie has seen his chance. They didn't do anything really that blew the doors off, and now they're the guy. And they're going to want to see what Matinpalo can do in the NHL, especially with all that pro experience. So I really think that if there's injuries, he's going to be the first guy they're going to want to get a look at.
And he was also one of the most improved players in league. And I know points aren't everything, especially for the style of defenseman that I just mentioned, but he doubled his point output from the year before. And that year he had doubled his output from the year before. And before that, he had 1 point in 33 games before COVID. So I do think that there is something to be said about catching a guy as they hit their perfect spot in their development cycle. And I think that could be Nikolas Matinpalo. Funny enough, he won't be completely walking into a new dressing room. He's former teammates with both Roby Yarventi and Lassie Thompson with Eels back right before the COVID pandemic wiped that. So he played 2 years, 2 years with Lassie and 1 year with Roby with Eels. So
and Ross, funny enough, Roby and Lassie will probably have some chirps for him, as Eels is the team that knocked his team sat out of the playoffs in Liga. So they might have a couple kind words for him there.
Oh yeah, no doubt, as they should. But when you're looking at Matinpalo, what to you would be a successful season for him?
I hate to come at it with this angle, Ross, but I really see him as being an injury replacement guy, and we don't want injuries. We saw enough of those last year. I think if he plays more than 35 games, that would be successful for him. I'm I want to see Matinpalo play, but unfortunately, the only way I see him getting a large sample size is if injuries happen. So for him, 35 games in the NHL is successful, but that's not going to be good for the team, I think.
I think I'm getting a bit of Jacob Larson vibe from him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's not going to hurt you when he's out there, but certainly there's guys who have a bit more upside and could maybe help produce a little bit more. Two of them are coming up on our list right now. But coming in at number 32 in his debut on our organizational value rankings, it's Nikolas Matinpalo.